Hey everybody, I haven't been doing a tremendous amount of hobbying since finishing the Oldhammer challenge, but I am starting to get back into it, and I've done a few things, and sometimes because actually I've got a big regimen here I've already shown that I'm working on here for British in the back. It takes a bit of time when you're working assembly line style. I basically put epoxy sculpt on all of these guys, and so just kind of doing that sculpting is actually probably at least an hour and a half, 2 hours of work, I'm guessing. But I kind of realized before I primed that I needed to take care of my standards. And I'm going to be getting some flags here. But just like this one here, I don't remember the brand name. I think they're not Little Big Men like I used from Saga. I use another flag company. I'll have to look it up again. I've only used them once when I bought these, and I do like them. They're quite popular. I'm sure many of you have heard of the company. You probably can put it below. But I do get them from overseas, from the UK. And so when initially I mentioned on the channel that I use the Dremel. And the Dremel, in order to do flags, what I'll typically use is the 132, the smallest here, particularly for the Minden miniature hands, because they're really, really quite small in the sense that they're a bit more of, they shoot for a bit less of a heroic scale, and so the hands are smaller. And I've never had a tremendous amount of trouble with, like, I guess, demolishing the hand, like with a drill, like in order to put the flagpole in, but this isn't really a 132, it's just really close. It's just something I found really close. And my 132 I ended up breaking the other week, so I hadn't replaced it. And I thought maybe I could just replace it by Dremel. I probably can get a drill bit just from another company, but I looked, and the only way I could get it was just spend another 20 bucks on a whole kit here, which isn't really a big deal. It's just that I don't really need these ones. I don't see myself breaking them anytime soon. And I thought to myself, I don't even own a pin vise, like a hobby pin vise, because I'm really a big fan of the Dremel. It just really works great for metal miniatures. And so I demolished the hand a bit on this guy here, and I knew I was going to end up having to green stuff. Let's see here. His hand, which I think I did a pretty decent job of just kind of making that nice hand again. That's sort of fast forward, because what I ended up doing is I ended up getting a pin vise. I got a pin vise by Excel. Seems pretty nice. It actually has a really nice amount of diverse bits that are inside this in the back. It comes with 12 of them. Unfortunately, they don't tell you what sizes. They tell you the range of their model numbers, so you just have to kind of eye them and look at them. And I also bought an extra one of a particular size that was close to 132. It ends up being a little bit smaller. They had one in here that worked great, so it worked perfect. The one that came with it. I just had this just in case. But as I started messing around with this, and particularly with a little hand, I'm wiggling, because I'm not nearly as straight as I can go with a machine tool, I just abandoned it really quick. Like, I think I could use this for plastic and certain metal applications that are bigger with my hand. But after having used the Dremel for so many years, and when I say the Dremel, they make smaller ones that are probably better for the application of the hobby, but I have just sort of a standard Dremel. It's definitely overpowered for what I need. I use it on the lowest setting, because this is the same thing I would use to sharpen my lawnmower with a blade, or to do like all kinds of stuff. I mean, heavier duty. But I just put it on the lowest setting and I use it. And using the same bit in the Dremel, it worked just like butter. It worked fine. It goes in real smooth. You're not as shaky and things like that, because you don't have to sit there working at it for a long period of time. So I was able to, I brought out my French, because I've got all British here, but I brought out my French that I did this same way, just as a reference, because it's been a little while. And yeah, the hands looked fine. I didn't remember ever really having trouble once I had the smaller drill bit. And once I had the correct one, it worked great for this. But yeah, I just thought this is something I just sort of purchased recently. I'm sure many people use hand drills in the hobby. I think it's rare for people to use the Dremel. I've heard a couple people on the channel mention they use one too, but I think most people use these kinds of things. I just find in really delicate situations it was kind of rough to make a hole, clean hole, and I guess I'm a bit impatient too, because I can do it so quickly with the Dremel now. So yeah, one of the things I'm working on while I'm waiting for that green stuff to to cure before I can prime. I pulled out. I was planning on pulling out some other stuff for French Indian War, so I ended up starting with my windmill. Many of you this has been sitting on the to-do list for a while. I showcased this windmill a while ago, and I got the first coat of paint, base paint for the white. I think it was Ralph Astley that had made some comments in a video about just windmills he sees and various things. We were just talking about it, and I had decided, like I've got my barn where I did like a distressed wood and a red top, and I'm planning on doing in the future, now that I have my windmill, which was high on the to-do list, I'm planning on doing a covered bridge at one point. I've always wanted to do like a North American covered bridge to have for Musket Tomahawks or sharp practice, and with that I'll end up doing something probably very similar to the barn because I like that look, but I don't want everything on my table to look like it, and I was looking like that. So I was looking, and a lot of windmills I see are white. They could be anything, I suppose. But I'm trying to make it look somewhat realistic and being not too flashy, because a lot of this stuff, when you go back and see it either in heritage buildings, like in heritage locations where they preserve sites, or you just see pictures from the past, I mean, sometimes they're just very simple, And so I'm kind of determining how I want to do it. I decided I'm going to do it white. I got this idea in my head that I might do the windmill itself, the sails, I should say, black. And then I was kind of debating on the roof, making it natural or black as well. And then all of a sudden I just before this video, this thought, well, sometimes I just see the really weird stuff, like when I see buildings out on farms and stuff, like I'll see just like colors that just come out of nowhere. So it'll be white, and then maybe it'll be green, like a green sail, and then I could, potentially do the shutters green or something. And I was kind of just determining, maybe I should do that, just to have it look different. Just have it green, like sort of a drab green. Not drab, not like military, but more of a brighter, I suppose, green. A lot of times I do notice when accent colors are chosen for barns and farm-related structures, it's oftentimes in North America red and green. Like I don't usually see as many blues and yellows and stuff. I don't know why that is. Even with cabin, like talking about cabin roofs and stuff, like even currently it tends to be a bit more of green or red, things like that. So I don't know whether I should do that. What do you guys think? Should I go just total simple, just go black and white and maybe a brown roof? I thought whichever way I did the sail, I would do the front of the sail, like this piece, the color I chose, like black or green. But then I was thinking I'll do a natural wood color for the supporting pieces. So these supportive pieces of wood, these beams, I'll paint as a natural wood. I don't know. I think it's going to be a nice accent for the table, though. I love building out my French Indian War terrain. It's sort of, by far, out of anything I do, it's sort of my terrain collection that I just keep expanding. And I just, like every time I play a game, I just like the table to look different because I just like to have lots of different stuff. And so I was really happy to get this one here. So, yeah, that's like sort of where I'm at now. I'm going to be painting, my main project right now is going to be painting this French Indian War of the British. This will be a fairly big assembly line project for me. Like I don't typically do 45 miniatures at once. I kind of debated whether I should do, I know a lot of people would do, let's say, 12, 12, 12, or like 20 and 20. I'm debating that. But I'm also just wondering whether I should just push through that in order to get the thing done and not move on to something else in between, that I might be better just pushing through. It might be a learning experience to do that. I could at least get like some of the base paint. I thought I'd start with the red uniform, a darker red, just as an undercoat, and start with that first. That'll be where I start everything at. What do you guys think? I'm thinking about going straight through. I'm thinking about just taking the pain, just go straight through, don't look back, and paint like 45 bayonets, 45 sets of eyes, 45 gunpowder pouches, 45 sets of boots. I remember doing stuff similar to that before. It's funny. It can be a learning experience. All right, I hope everybody's having a good one. Talk to you later.